Welcome to Solar Pulse. I'm your host Kuda, and today we want to talk about how your solar system works. So there are a number of components that we're going to be looking at to see how they function and how they work together to make up what you now know as your solar system. So the heartbeat of this solar system is your solar panel. So the solar panel is also called the photovoltaic or PV panel. So what photovoltaic means is photo means light, voltaic means voltage. So it's converting light energy to electricity. Then you're able to use that electricity in turn to power all the other loads that you may want to power. And when that power is being generated, it's going to be generated as direct current. And from that power that is being generated, you can also have your battery. Your battery is your storage. This is where you store up the power for later use. For example, if you are going to be powering your lights at night, you want to power a TV, you want to power a fridge, your power is stored into a battery coming from the photovoltaic. But at the same time, during the day, you are able to generate that power as direct current, and it goes straight to powering things like your solar pumps, your DC TV, your DC fridge, anything that takes direct current. So basically with your photovoltaic or solar panel, it works only during the day when there is sunshine, and at night it's dormant. That's where your battery kicks in and powers up your loads. The other component that is part of this whole setup is your solar charge controller. So the solar charge controller is the one component that is between your solar panels and your battery to make sure it regulates the charging of your battery. So a solar charge controller is something that looks like this. So you can actually plug in, it has components where you plug in your solar panels, your battery, and if you have DC lights, you're able to plug them in direct on the solar charge controller. So you realize with technology moving forward, we now have a hybrid inverter which comes integrated with a solar charge controller inside, which means there's not so many wires that you need whenever you're doing the setup. But you also have other products that still remains with the different setup where you have a charge controller and you have an inverter and things like that. So it's now a matter of options in terms of which one would work for you. So from the solar charge controller, we need what is called an inverter. So an inverter again is then interlinked with your battery. Once it's interlinked with your battery, that power now travels through the inverter and converted in real time to alternate current, which is your AC power, to power the loads that we just mentioned earlier on. So this is the entire setup that you need whenever you're looking at how your solar system works. And you also need the wiring. Wiring is the glue that connect all these components together. Without the wiring, they're just components and there's no solar system to talk about. So you need your DC cables that will interlink your solar charge controller and your battery. You need your battery cable that will interlink the battery and the inverter, and etc. etc. So this is just a quick diagram which I want to take you through that it clearly explains the flow of power from your solar panels all the way to your battery. So in this case, this is mimicking our our solar panels. So here's our solar panels. So there's polarities of positive and negative. So from the solar panels, the power flows through the controller, the solar charge controller, into a positive and a negative. Then from the solar charge controller, the power flows into the battery. This is now the controller, as we said, is the one that regulates the charging of your battery. In this case, now start charging your battery. Once your battery is fully charged, your battery is interlinked to your inverter already. So once your battery is fully charged, the battery then has a positive and negative DC side on your inverter. The inverter is also called a converter because it's converting DC energy to AC energy. So in real time, it then convert that DC energy to AC energy, powering all the loads that you may want to be powering. Maybe it could be fridge, TV, lights, whatever it is. So this entire setup can work for a household or it's commercial. It works the same way, the whole process of solar power generation and traveling through all these wires all the way to the inverter, and from the inverter you have a distribution board somewhere, then from the distribution you inter-distribute to wherever the power has to go. So these are the components that makes up your solar system. I hope this was informative for you to know how your solar system works and what are the key components that makes up that solar system. From us at Solar Pulse, thank you. See you next time.